So in the last video I did about loneliness, a lot of people related to the issues surrounding birthdays and having no friends. And oh boy, could I talk about that for a while. As I'm filming this in October, I have 5 months until my birthday. It's a big one. Birthdays are hard when you live with chronic loneliness, when you don't have anyone around you to celebrate with. That is something that I've struggled with for I don't even know how many years. I mean, for reference, I'm 29. Obviously, birthday parties when you're a kid. When I was a teenager, I had people around me because of school. But then, you know, you leave school and everything goes tits up. Every single birthday I have, I find it extremely difficult. From the moment I wake up till the moment I go to sleep, it's just like pushing it down, like trying to push a ball down in water. And of course, like the more you push it down, the more that ball goes to spring out the water, and then it's just 10 times worse. I always find birthdays really difficult. I don't want to do anything for my birthday because it's like a giant reminder, a giant emphasis that I have no one. I don't have friends. And that's really difficult to deal with on a day that you're meant to be celebrating yourself. I already feel like I'm dissociating from this whole conversation, so that's fun. So what has become really apparent recently is the birthdays that hit the hardest, that are the real heavy ones, are the big ones. When you turn 18, 21, 30, 40, etc. The big birthdays really suck. And let me tell you for why. I think before I get into this, it's like really important to say that birthdays and loneliness bring me a lot of shame. It's really difficult for me to open up about this to anyone. And that's kind of why I find making these videos a little bit therapeutic, because I get to just talk out loud to myself. It's less intimidating, if that makes sense. For me, the big birthdays are the hard-hitting ones. I am going to be 30 in March 2024, and I've already been asked by my family, what do you want to do for your 30th birthday? I never know what I want to do for my birthday. I never do anything. For me, it's this punch in the gut. It's this stepping on your throat. Oh wow, this is really positive, isn't it? That genuinely is just what my experience is with birthdays because of feeling lonely. Because I think most people on their birthdays, or even just around their birthdays, will do something with their friends. They will go out with their friends, go to the pub with their friends, maybe a weekend away with their friends, or have a big surprise party with friends. And I'm like, that's not been in my life for a really long time. I feel really disconnected from my birthday. I say this a lot, but I think the first step to overcoming a problem is acknowledging it's a problem in the first place. So that is what I'm trying to do here. But realistically, who am I gonna do anything with? I don't have the friends to do anything with. And when I say that, of course I have my boyfriend, of course I have, you know, my parents and my brother and sister-in-law, and I love them to bits, I really do. But there's something different about having friends that are your own. And I'll talk a bit about that in a minute. So big birthdays are the ones for me that are really difficult. For my 18th birthday, it was slightly different because I was still in school at that point. Therefore, I had a few friends. And I know I've mentioned this before, but when I was in school, I had friends, but I felt very much on the outside. So I was already experiencing loneliness. Whether that was to do with my cystic fibrosis, my condition that I have, or what, I don't know. I always felt very lonely, even in the group of people I was in. And I talked about that again before, that loneliness isn't just a thing where you don't have any friends. Loneliness can be a physical thing and an emotional thing where, you know, you can be surrounded by people. You might have friends at your birthday party, but you feel very disconnected from everyone there. And that is still loneliness, no matter if it's physical or emotional. Either way, it is valid. Anyway, so for my 18th, it was a little bit different because I was in school, and I really wanted to have an 18th birthday party because that's what everyone was doing, and I knew I did not have enough friends to have a party. So my brother's birthday is actually a week before mine. As I was turning 18, he was also turning 21. So it was like, this is too good of an opportunity to miss. I very much pleaded with my brother to have a joint party at a hall because I knew that the friends that I had, it wouldn't warrant renting out a big hall. I didn't know if anyone was going to even come to my party, but I knew that if it was joint collaboration with my brother, he's got loads of friends who would come. I literally begged him so much to have a joint birthday party, and he was not keen, but in the end we did it. That was my 18th. My 21st, the most painful birthday I have ever experienced. So for a little bit of context, because I was born on the 17th of March, that is St. Patrick's Day, and that is an Irish thing, right? So I thought, for my 21st birthday, wouldn't it be cool to go to Dublin and like celebrate St. Patrick's Day on my birthday in Ireland? So originally it was meant to be me, my ex, my parents, and my brother and his wife were gonna come on this trip, but for whatever reason, I can't remember why, my sister-in-law couldn't make it, and so there was a spare ticket. I didn't have a friend that, you know, was close enough to ask them to come on this trip to my 21st with my family, and so my brother ended up asking his friend, and his friend took the ticket. Don't get me wrong, I love my brother's friends, I really do. They are literally the closest thing to connection that I've had in years. In a way, his friend is also my friend. This is where it kind of gets really murky, because it's like, well, aren't they your friend then? How can I explain this? How does this make sense? I've gotten to know my brother's friends really well, to the point where they are kind of my friends, but then they're not my friends, they're my brother's friends. So yeah, I didn't have any friends that I could ask to come with me. That was so soul destroying. When I was 21, I had not woken up to my awareness. I was not aware of my emotions. I was very closed. I was very triggered easily. I kept a lot of my emotions in at that point in my life. I was immature, emotionally immature. I had not grown up. I hope that makes sense as I get into the story a little bit more. That was kind of really gut-wrenching to be like, I don't have any friends around me on my 21st birthday that are mine. I found that a really difficult concept to deal with. It was just this gut-wrenching punch to the stomach as a emphasis of, oh look, you don't have friends, like literally no one can come with you. And that was a really difficult thing for me to grasp at that point, because when you're 21, all you want to do is have a big group of friends around you, or even just a small group of friends that you can call up and like go get drunk and go to their 21st and celebrate with them. I feel like there's that pressure there when you're 21 to go out and partay, you know? It's gut-wrenching when you don't have that. So this is the thing, and you really don't want to sound ungrateful that I got to go to Dublin for my 21st birthday. This was just my experience of feeling loneliness at that point in my life. I hadn't matured emotionally, not at all. I was still very much keeping everything down. The loneliness that engulfed me on my 21st was unbearable. And it might not have looked it on the outside, because I had gotten very, very good at hiding my emotions, at pushing all of those feelings down to make it through that day. But I was an absolute wreck inside, because all I was feeling on my 21st birthday was loneliness. It was the fact that I was turning 21 and I had none of my own friends around me, when usually most people at 21 have friends that celebrate with. Springing up some emotions now. It was suffocating. I can't tell you how deeply that birthday scarred me. If you know, you know, the 10-minute version of All Too Well, there's a lyric in that song that says, it's supposed to be fun turning 21. When I heard that, it really kind of took me back to this whole scenario of me being in Dublin, celebrating my 21st, and just being overcome with utter loneliness. Like a thick blanket suffocating me, drowning in loneliness. I can't put it into words what I was feeling, because it was so intense. It was just everywhere. And of course, on my actual birthday, I realised in the evening that I wasn't drinking to celebrate my 21st. I was drinking to numb the pain of loneliness inside of me. I kept drinking for that sole reason, and not because it was my 21st. But the issue with that is, of course, alcohol is a depressant. Numbing the pain for a while will only make it worse when you finally feel it. And then it suddenly hit me. I was in this bar slash restaurant. There was this Irish band playing live music. Everyone was drinking. I was sitting at this like booth. We had like this corner table and there was like a booth, and everyone around me was having a really great time and getting really drunk, and I was intoxicated with alcohol. And that's when the depressant hit me. It hit me like a ton of rocks. Everything that I pushed down for that entire day all of that loneliness, all of the fact that I had no friends that I could go on holiday with or experience my 21st birthday with, all of that I had pushed down so hard for that entire day just suddenly just went and I sat there and I think I was looking at my phone to kind of hide the fact that I had tears in my eyes. I was really holding back the tears. It felt like it was going to explode out of me. I wish I could go back to that Kate and just fucking give her a hug. I can't give her any reassurance that it's gonna get better because hey, coming up to my 30th, we're in that same situation again, but I would still go back and give her a hug. So don't get me wrong, looking back, I am so grateful for my parents did go and my brother and his friend did come. Otherwise, it would be like other birthdays where I would just be on my own. It's in those situations when that loneliness is too big to manage. You cannot see anything else. This brings me very nicely to my 28th birthday. It was a very impromptu birthday, I might add. I went out to France, not for my birthday, it was just a coincidence that my birthday fell around that time. So my brother and his wife's friends were flying out to France around my birthday, and I decided very last minute to jump on that bandwagon as well. So it was very unintentional that I was out there for my birthday. It wasn't like oh, I'm gonna go out and celebrate my 28th birthday at my brother's house. You know, at this point, 28 years old, or almost 28, I guess, I was very much like, don't really want to celebrate my birthday because of this big black hole of loneliness that swallows me up every single year. My birthday comes around. This is the one that I mentioned in the last video. I had to cut a whole section out of it, and this is what I want to talk about now. I woke up that morning and had literally no messages from anyone. Not one person had messaged me to say happy birthday, and it was just like this, oh yeah, that's why we don't like birthdays. Oh yeah, that's the loneliness. Oh yeah, do you have any friends? Doesn't look like it. There's your proof, Kate. Almost like you attach your worth to your birthdays. Like, depending on how many people send you a message on Facebook or just send you a text, it kind of defines how connected you are or how many friends you have. But I just want to jump in here and say, no matter what, if you have no one messaging you on your birthday, first of all, I know what that's like, and I'm sorry that you have to go through that too. And second of all, you are enough. It does not take away from the fact that you are enough. Just wanted to throw that in there. And this is what loneliness does. It disconnects you from everything. Everything. It kind of creates this tunnel vision where we can only see loneliness. We fixate on the loneliness. We are glued to the loneliness. It's the only thing that we can think of because it's so big, because it's so monstrous. It literally takes up all of the space inside of you, all of the space in front of you, and that is the only thing that you can see. A bit like rose-tinted glasses, but instead of rose-tinted, it's like loneliness glasses. That's really sad, or at least it is for me anyway. So I was sat there in France, I woke up with no messages, and I started to fixate on this loneliness, being like, oh yeah, there's that feeling of dread and emptiness and loneliness starting to spread within me. And before it could really take over, I interrupted it. I just said to myself, well, what can I be grateful for? What can I be grateful for in this moment? And I know it sounds cheesy, but I literally looked outside of the loneliness. I almost like stepped over it before it got too big, before it completely engulfed me. And I was like, okay, but what can I be grateful for? I was basically asking that question to create a bridge from where I am stuck in this loneliness in tar, that's what it feels like, you're in tar, to creating this bridge to get out of that and kind of like keep it separate almost, so I'm not completely engulfed in it. Does that make sense? So asking the question of, okay, is there anything that I can be grateful for right now, creates that bridge for me to get to the other side safely. And I asked that, and I was like, well, yeah, I'm in France, you know, I'm in my brother's house, I have a bed to sleep in, there's food downstairs, I'm warm and comfortable. Then I was like, oh yeah, and there's people here. There are people downstairs who are here, who are friends. And again, it's different, isn't it, when your siblings' friends compared to your friends. It's kind of a separate thing, isn't it? And I do understand that, but I was like, I do have people around me this time. And it was just the little question of, well, what could I be grateful for today? It took me from this black hole of loneliness to me almost climbing out of that and being like, okay, but wait, there are things that I can be grateful for, even just the small things. Even the fact that I have fresh water to drink. Smallest little things almost kind of just step you out or get you even just a little bit out of that feeling of loneliness. Just because I didn't get any messages, but just because I didn't have that social validation from other people that, you know, it's your birthday, happy birthday, it doesn't mean that there aren't people here to celebrate with, or there aren't people in my life who will celebrate me. And I think that's the really important thing. When it comes to loneliness and birthdays, we just fixate on the fact that there is nothing. And it's so easy to do because negativity bias is a real thing that we as humans do and have naturally evolved doing. So it's like biologically wired in us to seek out the negatives and fixate on them. But it was just the realization of, oh, no, hang on, there are people here. And yes, they might not be my friends, but they are friends. Almost really overwhelming for me that birthday, because I walked down the stairs and they put up little banners of happy birthday. I think they put like a little candle and a pan of chocolat and they all sang happy birthday to me, and they even made a parcel for me that was just like totally unexpected. And it was the first time that I could remember in years. It was the first time that I had had that kind of friendship around me in years. Almost sitting there feeling really overwhelmed and almost kind of very much disconnected from reality because I was overwhelmed, but I was like, wow, this is what it's like to have friends around you on your birthday. It just kind of felt like I had almost like a free pass that year to be like, hey, this is what it's like if you have friends or if you surround yourself with the right people. It showed me what friendship could be like. I am so glad that I woke up and chose to be grateful for what I had in that moment, rather than being like, well, they're not my friends, you know, or like, oh, well, I still don't have people around me, and really kind of fixate on the negative thing, which I think is something that we all do sometimes, and some of us can take to a little bit of the extremes. I know I've done it before. We all do it. We kind of focus on the negative even when there's so much good around us. What kind of made it really special was the fact that I felt included. I felt a part of something. I think I've just become so used to being on my own and being lonely. It's nice to feel included, and that group of people are just like, they're all so lovely. So lucky that my birthday fell on that trip when they were going out. This year for my birthday, it was still that gut-wrenching loneliness kicked me in the arse the entire day. Even my boyfriend was asking me this year, like, are you okay? I said, I'll be okay or something, and it's like, I was not okay. And he was like, well, what's wrong? Okay, look, it's really difficult to open up about loneliness face to face. You know, I can do it here because there's no one around me. I'm in my own space, it's fine. But like actually opening up to someone and saying, hey, yeah, I'm feeling really lonely. Shit's difficult. As I already said, my 30th birthday's coming up and I'm so scared. Not because it's my 30th, although that's a whole other issue, but because I don't have people to celebrate it with. I don't have, yet again, and it's been 9 years since my 21st birthday, but yet again I don't have people I can celebrate it with. It's not like I can throw a 30th birthday party because who would come? It's almost so embarrassing, the fact that I'm here yet again. I feel like I'm just dreading my 30th birthday because of the loneliness, because of having no one around me to celebrate such a big milestone, you know? I think I'm just so scared of my 21st birthday repeating itself again. But hey, you know, I've grown a lot since I was 21, you know, I'm much more aware now. Clearly, making a video about it, crikey, I would never have done that at 21. Never. I was so embarrassed, so ashamed. Kept that very much hidden and locked down. Like, even though I've grown so much as a person and I'm completely different now, there's always going to be that prominent feeling of loneliness on my actual birthday. I don't know how to combat that yet. I feel so sad for little Kate. I feel like I've let her down. My younger self should be like, what do you mean you don't have any friends at 30? But I feel that really deep. Anything you push down will just come back up 10 times harder. I feel like there's always pressure around big birthdays to do something. Does there need to be? I don't think there needs to be. Nonetheless, I'm still feeling that pressure to do something for my 30th. I'm only gonna turn 30 once, and it's like, should probably like celebrate that. And she's just jumping back for a second. I think what my 28th birthday did, it showed me the importance of having people around you on your birthday. And I know that's tough when you don't have anyone around you. This is the thing, like people say, well, you have loads of people around you. Even if people think that you have people around you, that loneliness is still valid. It's still valid for that person to feel like that. I really do get it. I know how it feels to feel loneliness so goddamn strongly on your birthday. And I just want you to know that you're not alone with it. And maybe we can all support each other in the comments below, because you are worthy of connection. No matter what you tell yourself, no matter how hard you criticize yourself or doubt yourself, you are worthy of having connection. You are worthy of having friends. I'm really rooting for you to find that friendship, to find someone you can celebrate your birthday with, or celebrate New Year's with, or any kind of holiday that's really difficult to deal with. There's nothing really that I can say that will make loneliness go away, but I believe in you and I'm rooting for you. I really am. I know how it feels to not have any friends to celebrate your birthday with. You know, I'm in the middle of this whole situation at the moment where I'm almost 30. It's kind of sent me into a little bit of a spiral lately, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm finding it really difficult to deal with at the moment. I really hope this helps someone out there feel less alone with feeling loneliness on your birthday, because it's a real thing and you deserve to feel less alone. If you related to any part of this video, then you're probably gonna relate to this video right here, where I talk a lot about loneliness in depth. I'm sending so much love, and of course I'll see you in the next one.